Hello, 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 everybody. I hope and pray that your week is off to an amazing start. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. Make sure you're putting in the chat where you're joining me from. I would absolutely love to give you a shout out. And again, you guys, I hope and pray that your week is off to an amazing start. I hope you guys missed me last week. Last week I had a minor procedure done, so I needed to rest so I could be on here today. Again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Please, please, please put in the chat where you're joining me from. I would absolutely love, love, love to give you a shout out. And like I said, last week I had a minor procedure done and I was going to come on here. Mr. Crowder was like, absolutely not. So I was like, okay. So again, I'm really happy to be back because it is Tuesday. And you guys know what goes down here on Tuesday. Wife Chat goes down here on Tuesday. So do me a favor. Make sure that you let everybody knows that chat is going down. Again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Put in the chat where you're joining me from. I would love, love, love to give you a shout out. And so tonight's chat is brought to you guys from a wife. Hi, I'm Sonia. Thank you so much for joining me from Maryland. I appreciate you for putting in the chat where you're joining me from. And thank you so much for watching me on my YouTube channel. I appreciate you. And so this chat comes from a wife. They've been married 14 years. They have one child, and she is from Las Vegas. All about Nasha. Hi from Albany, New York. Thank you so much for joining me from New York. I appreciate you. I really do, and supporting my YouTube channel. And so she's been married 14 years, one child, and from Las Vegas. And this is her message to me. Dr. Gail, me and my husband have been married for 14 years, and we have one child. For the last 4 years, it has been a struggle for me mainly. He seems to take me for granted and does not put me or our son first. We have decided to separate to see if we still want to be married. Is there any advice you could give us while we're separated? Okay. And so it seems as if this marriage has some turbulent times, which all marriages do and will have turbulent times. So if somebody tells you they have a perfect marriage, they're either living in two separate planets or that's a lie from the pit of hell. I'm just being honest with you. I'll be married 37 years in July, and Gil and I have been separated on the verge of divorce twice. And I'm not talking about just talking about, I'm talking about we had lawyers and spent all the money and we decided to make it work. So I understand where this particular young lady is. Okay. And so she wants some advice. And so when you have decided, and it is not a thing where the person just gets mad and you wake up and they're gone, or you go to work and when you get back, they're gone, because that is just saying, I give up. But they evidently had some type of conversation to say, we're going to put this on hold right now and we're going to separate to see if it works. So they had some kind of conversation, which is a good thing. But let me just tell you, 62% of marriages that have a separation, only 38% of the marriages work for a long term. And I'm just being honest with you, because a lot of times, especially in the field that I am, which you guys know I'm a marriage counselor, but I'm also a marriage coach, but I focus in mainly on intimacy and sex. But however, just in my practice alone, if you don't get to the root cause of what led you to be there and you really put things in place, it's going to happen again and it's just going to get worse. Okay. And so, like I said, 62% of marriages that people decide to separate don't last. But I will say this, that they had a discussion and it was not something where the person just walked out and they came home and they realized that the person had left them. Okay. But Again, there's exceptions to every single rule because I had went to work, came home, and I thought somebody had robbed us, and Gil had left my behind. So, but we're still standing. So again, there's exceptions to every rule, but everybody's circumstances is different. So I want to say this: you if you guys had decided to be separated, right? And sometimes separation could be good because it gives you some things to think about. It also allows you to see sometimes that the grass is not greener on the other side. So these are the suggestions that I would tell this young lady and anybody who's listening who is thinking about being separated, to put these things in place and make sure that you adhere to them so you can get a clear picture if you want to walk back and step back into your marriage. Number one, you gotta set the framework and the time frame of when and how you guys are going to be separated. How long are you going to be separated? And what is the framework of the separation? Because if you do not put that in place, the longer you stay separated, the more you're going to become single-minded. Okay, so set the time frame and say, okay, we're going to be separated for a month, and just to see, if we can work this out. The second thing is with the framework is, where are you, each of you, living? Are you living under the same roof and just operating, staying in separate rooms? What is the framework? Because you must establish that if this is a separation that is decided. Okay. Number two, set clear-cut boundaries. And if you do not do this, I'm telling you, you will fail. Because again, when you step out of the marriage, in your mind is, I got to do this for me. You're not thinking about the other person. So what are the boundaries? Are you going to be able to go out and party? Are you going to be just hanging out with your friends? Are you spending the marital money? Or are you guys separating the money? What are the boundaries? Are you able to date while you're separated? All of those things need to be discussed. Because if you don't, I'm telling you, it's going to create chaos. And I also want to remind you that even though you are separated, your spouse is still the only walking, talking, legal person that can make a decision for you, whether you separated from around the world or right next door in the same house. So just because you are separated does not mean that you're divorced, and does not mean that they still don't have a say in your life. Okay. And so many people think, oh, we separate. I've been separated for 6 months. I'm doing my own thing. If something was to happen to you, he or she are the only people that can make a decision for you. And so many people forget about that. So you have to set clear-cut boundaries. No, we're not dating other people. No, we're not sleeping with other people. No, we're not going out partying all the time. No, whatever those boundaries are, yes, we can be in the same house at the same time. Or no, I would prefer you come get your things, or, get your clothes, or however that's going to work while I'm at work. Whatever that looks like, you got to set those clear-cut boundaries, okay? Number three, what are your obligations as a couple? What are your obligations? Are you still paying the mortgage? Are you still paying the light bill? What are your obligations? Are you picking up, in this case, are you picking up the kid like you normally did from soccer practice? Whatever those things are, you need to set clear-cut boundaries and understand if those things are going to continue, because again, you're still married. And if you don't establish those things and the lights get cut off, you're going to be like, well, you're the one who used to pay the light bill. Well, you didn't tell me I need to pay the light bill. I don't live here. All of those things can cause more stress than it can be helping for you guys to see if you want to still be together. So you got to set up your obligations. Make sure that you stick to those obligations that you say you're going to stick to. And my suggestion in this situation, any obligation, put it in writing. Put it in writing. So that way it won't be, I thought you said all of these different kind of things, because remember, there's probably been a communication breakdown. So you're not communicating effectively. So therefore I'm not listening to everything you're saying, and the expectations have changed. Okay. Number 4, decide if you're going to only still be intimate with each other, right? I know some couples that have separated, but they have decided that they're not going to seek sex and intimacy from anybody else but their spouse. And that needs to be decided, because if you decide to get back together and you have engaged with someone else, then in your mind, it could be that the other person saying you committed adultery. Why did you do this? And that caused a whole nother set of problems. So make it clear and decide whether you guys are, while you're separated, the only person that you're going to get sex from is your spouse. Make it clear. I know that's a hard one, but make it clear. Okay. And number 5, my suggestion is communicate daily. Regardless, communicate daily. Even if it's just about a set topics, communicate daily. I am fine. The child is fine. I paid the mortgage. If it's just a set of topics that you discuss, communicate daily, no matter what. Don't shut down communication, because again, remember, that is still your spouse, and that is hard, but communicate daily. And number 6, get yourself some help, because you just did not get in this situation overnight. And a lot of times people think that they can work this kind of stuff out, and they can't. And let me just tell you, your spouse is the only walking, talking, living, breathing person that you cut a covenant with, and you said you were going to do life with for the rest of your life. So get some help, because it's obvious for you to get in this position and it got so bad where you wanted to separate that you can't work it out on your own, or you would still be there. Okay, so seek some help. We invest in every area of our life. We go on vacations, we do all kind of stuff. Get yourself some help. Even if you decide that you want to walk away, you still need to get yourself some help in order to be able to move on and not make the same mistakes that you made in this particular relationship. And so the last thing that I want to impart into you guys is, before you literally go and say, I want to separate, ask yourself these questions. The first thing is, what is the purpose of the separation? What is the true purpose of the separation? Because a lot of times we do stuff out of anger and it's really no purpose to it, and it causes more problems than it does for you to really think that you're getting something out of it. So what is the purpose of it? Is it the purpose for you to realize how valuable your spouse is? Is it the purpose for you to regroup and say, I have to do better and get myself some help? What is the purpose of the separation? Number 2, what will I lose if I remain separated? What is the loss? And in this instance, for this particular couple, to me, this young man is losing a father being in the household, which is huge, because the family dynamics all over the world is suffering. So to me, that is a big thing for you to think about. My son is going to be in a single parent household. Not that you can't be a single parent and raise amazing children. I came from a single parent household and I turned out just fine. And my siblings did too. But what are the consequences? if I remain separated. Hi, Laverne. How are you? How you doing? From Philly. Number 3, what will I gain from this experience? What will I gain from this experience? Because again, anytime you decide to walk away, there's good, bad, and the ugly. So what will you gain from this experience? For me, when Gil and I was separated, I gained that I was the problem in the marriage, and I went and got myself some help, and I gained some tools and some strategies to become a better person, to become a whole person inside of my marriage, because I felt that I was losing myself in the marriage. So for me, what will I gain? I gained knowledge, I gained tools, and I became a whole person and quit trying to make Gil make me whole. That's what I gained when he left my behind. Okay. And number 4, what am I missing in my marriage in order for us to come back together? What am I missing? Because it's obvious there's something missing. And what she said was that she felt that he was taking her for granted. But when you tell somebody you're taking me for granted, what is the for granted? Because people are not mind readers. You have to be able to articulate what is the problem. Being taken for granted is a general statement. What is it? And that might be the reason why she might not be able to articulate it. He might not be able to understand it. And that's the reason why they say they want to separate to see if they want to be back together. Right? And so I really want you, if you're in a situation where you're thinking about separating and walking away from your marriage, to really listen to this again. And my prayer is that you gain something from it, because I've been where they are twice. The first time Gil left my behind, the second time I was leaving him because he wasn't making me happy. So I understand this. But the first time, it was not planned. I came home and I thought somebody had robbed. The second time, I was planning it because I was articulated to him that I was leaving. But I was leaving for divorce. I was not leaving to be separated. Okay. So it's a little bit different, but it is the same. All right. Is there any questions that I can answer for you guys? Again, you guys, thank you so much for supporting all my channels. I appreciate you. Also, for you wives, on May the 4th, I have Unleash Her coming up. It's a 2.5-hour workshop, and I'm talking about how to really unleash your sexy. If you're struggling in that area, I want to pour into you, and there's no holds bar. I'm going to go there. I'm going to tell you what stifles you. We're going to talk about it all. So go to my website, gailcrowder.com. If you're struggling in that area, I would absolutely love to help you in that. And again, you guys, if there's no question, you guys, thank you for joining me from New York, from Pennsylvania, from Maryland. I truly appreciate you. And for all you other people that did not put in the chat, again, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you need to talk to me, please visit my website and schedule a free 15-minute discovery call. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm only trying to help you with one tool and one strategy to help you in your marriage. And again, if you want me to talk about something on Wife Chat, feel free to inbox me. I will never say your name. I will only say if it's a wife or a husband and where you're from. Okay. Hi, Scott. How are you? I appreciate you getting on here. Again, you guys, y'all have an amazing night. And again, thank you guys so much for supporting me in everything that I do. I appreciate you.